cheapest flight ever. Just call us or click on the description below. Cheap flights airlines, additionally described as no-fuss or low-prices airlines, are airlines that supply cheapest trips. Take a trip prices. The affordable airline companies should not be puzzled with normal airline companies that supplying seasonal affordable prices. Unlike the regular airlines, these airlines continually provide such low fares and keeping their costs reduced. Background of cheap flights airlines. Affordable trip airlines were begun in 1971 by an American airline companies called Southwest Airlines. It infected Europe, and also the airline companies are swiftly gaining root amongst several vacationers. In 1994, 3 million vacationers picked to make use of the cheap flights, and also the statistics skyrocketed in the following year. 1995 saw over 17.5 million tourists move from the routine airline companies to the reduced. This fad has actually continued to define the airline sector. Lots of mainstream airlines have actually either changed to the cheap price flights organization or have actually opened franchises to catch this growing need. Case in point is British Airways, that established their cheap flights airline subsidiary called Go. KLM also began a franchise for reduced price trips called Buzz. Buzz was gotten by Ryanair and Go by EasyJet after the former owning airline companies videotaped losses from these cheap flight subsidiaries. Today, EasyJet and also Ryanair are one of the most effective reduced prices flights firms operating in Europe. With the financial recession as well as the difficult hit on the airline companies industry, analysts project that they forecast that low rates trips will certainly additionally take the long-distance paths which are presently predominated by the large routine airlines. Just how the cheap flights manage their costs. The cheap flights airlines are able to have the most inexpensive trips for various factors. These airlines will primarily land on flight terminals that, considering that they typically have the most inexpensive flights, the flights are mainly complete, and also they minimize on their loading as well as unloading time at flight terminals. How to obtain the most affordable trips for your travel. Despite having the cheap flights airlines, you can manage your travel to time the cheapest offers and therefore decrease better on your travel expenses. Booking way in advance, at least 2 weeks prior to your traveling, will most of the times decrease on your fare costs. Airline companies will generally boost on their prices as the day of traveling nears. Since there are no middlemen with these airlines, all you need to do is most likely to the airline company's site as well as publication for the air ticket. You can also publication as well as pay by calling their call. The most affordable trips are typically on weekdays in between Monday as well as Thursday. Weekend fares are usually higher as the demand is also high. You ought to likewise attempt and schedule the really early morning as well as late in the evening trips, as these trips have when reserving as well as comparing prices. You must bear in mind the tax obligations levied on the tickets. Some cheap flights airline companies will certainly have the prices indicated comprehensive of tax obligations, while others omit tax obligations. Cheap flights airlines, additionally referred to as no-fuss or low-prices airline companies, are airline companies that supply least expensive flights travel rates by marketing most of their on-board services such as cargo carrying, meals and also seats booking. The reduced-cost airline companies ought to not be perplexed with normal airline companies that offering seasonal discounted fares. Unlike the regular airline companies, these airline companies continually supply such low fares as well as keeping their prices reduced. Cheap flight airline companies were begun in 1971 by an American airline companies called Southwest Airlines. 1995 saw over 17.5 million tourists move from the normal airline companies to the low-fare trips airline companies in a bid to obtain the least expensive flights. Cheapest flight ever? Just call us or click on the description below.